Okay, Eagles, here we are back again with our play install, one of our bread and butter installs when it comes to run game is our 35-36 counter series. This can be done all the way at our 8U development level, and then you'll see us all the way up at the high school varsity level doing this. You see it at the college level. USC is a big team right now running counter and then incorporating a passing game off of that. But as you can see right here, and I'm going to kind of go through it, and then I also have some film clips. This is drawn up as 35 counter. You can see it's I left, 35 counter. So as we learned in our two back formations, our Y is going to be to the left, Z off the ball, and then we're countering, which means we're going to get our fullback going counter or opposite way of our tailback. And the reason we do counter is because a lot of teams, especially at the youth level and then leading into middle school and high school, these linebackers and even safeties are taught to read the fullback. So if the fullback goes to the left, the linebackers go to the left. They go to the right, he's going to the right. So as what we do is we send that fullback opposite, and that fullback's going to let these tackle and guards clear, and then he's going to replace on the DN. When we do 25-26 power, that fullback's going to be our lead blocker on the defensive end. So they kind of just swap roles. But you can see right here we have 35 counter. Quarterback footwork when we open here, and I'll show it on a video clip here soon. Quarterback is going to go butt to the hole and open to it. Okay, and then we're going to drop and get back depth so we can hand off. Eventually that'll lead into our boot play action series where we roll out to the left, or excuse me, the right. Defense is left. But here, first thing we're always going to do is start at our end right here. Our tight ends, we teach an arc block release when it's counter or power to them. So if it's I left 35 counter, we never want, as far as right now, unless it's a tagged call, we do not want our tight ends blocking this DN down into the play. By a tight end arc releasing out and looking like he's running a route, this DN typically is going to widen and soften with him. So this guy right here that we're kind of kicking out. Okay, so by this guy arcing out, this guy's going to get a soft play if he's trying to get hands on that tight end, even at the youth level, and then that guy's going to kind of widen out for us right there and make our kick out block easier. Power and counter, simple on the play side. Tackle and guard are always going to double team, or the term that we use at the high school is a deuce block, deuce meaning two. So we are double teaming that first lineman outside of the center, double teaming, and then you can see that soft arrow to the backside linebacker. If we get to that guy, great, but for sure we want to move that guy off the spot. You'll see on the other YouTube video of some drills that can help move that guy off the spot, as well as what that play looks like on cans. Center's going to always replace. Guard's pulling here, so center's going to replace and fill away. Typically, whether it's an A gap or a B gap player, that center wants to fill away. Guard is going to there's a couple different ways we can teach this, a shuffle pull or a drop step and open, but essentially that guard is going to swim tight over that center's butt. The guard is going to swim over the center's butt, coming downhill and kicking out the defensive end. We want the defensive end coming upfield this way. That's why if the tight end does a good job of arcing out, we call that an arc block, that guard can get inside and kick out that DN and create a lane here. Tackle we're teaching now is a shuffle pull, similar to a basketball shuffle. They can do a drop, step, and skip. Either way, they're trying to get depth, similar to a banana. Okay, and then they find that soft hold. They're reading the block of that guard, so that guard kicks out. He's off the butt. And then our tailback footwork is going to be a counter step right. So right foot cross, or excuse me, right foot step, left foot back. Get that ball, and then we're downhill reading the butt of the tackle. We are not trying to get outside and get out here. We are trying to run this in the A to B gap area. We like to use the word downhill. So this guy pulls and kicks, and that tackle should be right off of their butt. You can kind of see right here how it moves a little bit, kind of messes up, but you get the general idea. And then I got a couple video clips. Quarterback doesn't move here, but the fullback replaces, and it gets those guys moving. You could also run this out of slot, so you could bring your Z over here to this right side, and then that'll move your corner back over here, or essentially move the corner back over onto the other side if they're playing man. So you can kind of play with numbers that way. But I formation balances out, and you can even run it back to the weak side over here. You just want to make sure you get inside because you don't have anybody to account for this guy. Okay, so I'm going to show you in our install right here. I'm going to click on it here. You can see I left 35 counter. I have 3 play clips to go along with this. They're all drawn up because you can do this out of one back as well. We haven't quite necessarily talked through those one back formations, but I'm going to show it here. So this is an ace set for us. This is when we're under center. So our tight end's here, so it'd be ace right. Your Z's off the ball. Your S is in the slot. X, tailback here. You can do it out of shotgun too, which is what we do now. So our quarterback's going to stand back here at the depth. Tight end would, even though it's a forefront, he's going to arc release around this guy. I can't remember off the top of my head if this is counter left or counter right. I'm guessing it's counter left. So you'll see the good deuce block over here on the left side, center filling away. Guard's going to kick out. Tackle's going to pull up the hole. If tight end is backside of the play, he's going to try to get downfield to get this safety. And then we got a good cut and run by our running back. You'll see it here from the end zone shot, which is always the best tape to teach from. Celebrate with your team, always good to see. So here's a good shot of it. It'd be our ace right or a tray right set. It's a four-man, so we call this a four-man D-line, so a 4-2. You're going to see these linebackers shuffle over. So any linebacker that's in the middle or head up on the center, that's who they're going to deuce to. If it's a linebacker that's on this side of the center, they're automatically going to go to this backside guy, number 18 right here. Center's got a hard fill away to a B-gap player. That's a hard block, but you got to snap and step at the same time, which is key, so you can get over and get in that hip. It's an easy down block for our left guard right here, and then we have tackle helping. So we use a heavy and a hammer call. So the heavy player would be our left guard. Hammer down to help would be this guy, and then we're climbing a linebacker, and you'll see this guard and tackle. Also watch quarterback go butt to the hole and open to get depth, and then eventually we do a bootleg play action off of it, which is a good play for us too, out of two back or one back. So you'll see it here, our counter series. Could go right or left. Tackle got a little confused right there. Let me pull that back. You can see how much the tackle looks like he's going to block this guy, but we have somebody pulling for him. Would it have helped? Sure. Would have gained a guy. However, that's not the assignment. He comes and makes that block right there, and then we're up the alley. Again, you can see counter. Pull it back a little bit more. We are not trying to run this out here. We are trying to get a kick out here, run through the guy, and let the running back do the work. Our next play clip of this is a two-back set. This is against a odd man front or a five-man front, which I know we see a lot of at the youth league. It's a 5-3 box. We go in a slot formation here, so we move our Z to the other side to kind of dictate where we want them to move their coverage. You can see that we're in I. It changes our rules a little bit on something like this. But if you follow the base rules of blocking down in your gap and filling away, we can do a really nice job. So pausing it right here, this fullback, the hardest block, pull it back just a little bit, is that fullback's got to replace on the D end right here, who's head up on the tackle. This is where our double team is now occurring. So our guard and center are going to double team hard here. Our play side tackle is going to rip inside, low hat here. We're still going to get our kick out block and our tackle up the hole. Watch tailback footwork on this. Should be a counter step over. Hesitation, and then waits for that tackle's block. You can see that again. I'll pull it back. So again, this is the perfect way to teach it. If I could go a little slower, I would. We're creating a wall. A kick out and a wall. We use the term downfield or downhill or knifing it, however you want to say it, where running back sets that block up, plants his foot, you can see, and then he sneaks in behind the big guy right there. On top of that, a lot of little Eagles players back in the day right here. You got Dylan Morris, who's at UW, Foster Sorrell with the Chargers, Bo Blowers, Matt Shook, Ian Curley. A lot of players. The Lugos, Almoses, Mershons. So a lot of guys that ran these plays in the youth league, and then they get to the high school, and they're running those same plays. And then here's another one. This is going to be out of our bunch formation. So we do this a lot at the high school. I know a lot of our older youth teams can do this. This would be like a bunch, right? And normally this shows like an 80 ocean, so they might be thinking pass. But we're going to run our one-back counter out of it. We're going to get a double team. Anytime there's a nose guard, our double team has to happen with our center and our guard now. Tackle's going to fill away. Center's main thing is to watch this guy crashing down, because if he does, that center's going to do what we call a peel-off block and replace here. He comes off late to it, as you can see. And then strike up the band. Let's see if this is... We don't have it from the end zone. We do. Perfect. So here's our box here. The center's guy to fill away on is way over here at the DN spot, but he doesn't have to go right away because he gets help from the guard. This is our heavy hammer concept again, so we're going to deuce down on this nose guard right here to get that guy moved off the spot. Guard's going to pull and kick out here. Tackle's ripping through for the mic because he's right over the ball in the middle. So an easy rule for the tackle. Somebody in the middle that is naturally on that invisible line that you have at an angle. Guards down. Normally our double team would be here, so instead of the double team, now he stays on that same track and goes to the mic right here. And then this tackle's pulling through, kicking out here. Let's see it from the end zone. And you can see how that clears up for us. One good thing to learn right here is teach tape anytime, because you can always read this as a quarterback. If you have a mobile quarterback, you say 36 counter read. And then if this D end right here crashes so hard, then obviously we want that quarterback to keep it. And they're going to run off this edge right here. This is not a good play fake right here by our quarterback to hold that guy home, but I think it was a straight giveaway that we were handing off. So that's why he did it. So again, you can see from the end zone if we had to call read, but you can see where that wall kind of creases and where these guys are setting up inside. It makes it easy. Okay. You do not want to run counter outside. The only way you would do that is if it gets bottled up and you have to bounce outside. Also on this play install, and this is from a tutorial we did years ago, you can kind of see terminology-wise if it's something you want to go over with kids about each position and terminology that we kind of use, whether it's gaps, A gap, B gap, dual read, counter step, just some more good things to learn off of. So again, that's 35 counter. Obviously, if it's 36 counter, everything would just be flipped. So as a coach, you got to be able to sponge that up and flip it the other way. It's always easier to run counter to the A gap D tackle. So this guy right here is an A gap. If you're looking A gap past the center, then B, then C, it's easier to run 36. But we're drawn up this way because against a tight end, it's kind of balanced. So against the tight end, you want to go tight end side. But again, you can always mess with it too, bringing your slot receiver over here, or if you get a smart Z receiver, you can use a zap motion. So it would be I left zap, 35 counter. So all that would say is once they say set, quarterback's going to move his back foot or give him a nod. This guy goes full motion across. Snap it when he clears the tackle, 35 counter, and he can get us some different wrinkles that way. All right, so again, that's our counter series.